Henry, see, we're going to get into talking about how to start up a business and some of the steps you'll get to start rolling on. There's about a 15-step process you outline here. But I'm fascinated about the Canadian Small Business Institute. How long has it been around, and what is your business mandate?
Well, the Small Business Institute was established in 1981. It was founded by Richard Stacey, who is a Canadian, but it's a private education organization, helped basically to found it and to foster and encourage entrepreneurship in Canada. Currently, we have about 100,000 members who belong to the Small Business Institute, made up of 3 distinct divisions, one for small business, others on real estate and personal finance investment. So what we try to do is show people all the different ways how they can make money. Basically, we provide the tools that entrepreneurs need when they get set up in a business, from printing their stationery, letterhead, right up to rubber stamps they may need. We also provide business publications. These are directories that people can get names and addresses on who they can call on if they need information.
You've just given me a few handouts here on the way into the studio, and I was amazed. Your business letter, the context for starting a business, where do you register your business? I mean, on and on. It's mind-boggling. It's very difficult to digest all of it. What were you trying to do? Start up as sort of an umbrella catch-all service for someone who wants to get into business?
Well, I think Richard's original concept was to basically support and foster entrepreneurship. So he started off providing consulting. Then he found that people had some common questions that kept being asked. So he came up with a reference manual called Blueprint for Success in Your Own Business. It's basically a giant reference manual made up of about 2,000 pages of sample letters, agreements, contracts, case studies that entrepreneurs who want to start a business can follow through the footsteps of other successful entrepreneurs that he's documented and researched.
This is an interesting time. You hear a lot more about people giving up on a disastrous job market and say, you know, in desperation going into business because it's probably their only alternative in a market like this. Is that the kind of mindset that's good to enter into business out of desperation?
Well, I don't think it's right in desperation to start a business, because you need a business plan realistically to succeed in a business. And what we try to do is provide that information, the necessary steps, if they want to start a business. In some cases, we feel some people are not set out to be an entrepreneur, but more than likely, they have to look at some of the things they enjoy when they start a business. Mm-hmm. And if they don't enjoy their job and they want to start a business of that type or that nature, it's unlikely they're going to succeed. We find more people who become successful is because they get into activities that they can make money with, but they enjoy and are happy with.
Well, I'm amazed with the ideas, and you know, you sent me this handout with the basic steps to setting up your own business, and actually the way you lay it out here, it looks relatively simple. Mm-hmm. But without getting mired and bogged down in great detail, what are some of the first steps you'd go through?
Well, I guess if we can keep it short, there's 10 basic steps that you need in order to learn how to start up a business. And now these 10 steps, I see most people taking 6 months, even up to a year to overcome. Usually 90% of your time in your first year should be focusing on marketing and bringing income into your business. These 10 steps really is more of a formality to get your business set up and running. The first step is choosing a name for your company. Mm-hmm. We use what we call the 3M rule, where it should be mellow, memorable, and should have mass appeal. And mm-hmm. the main thing is not to try to be first in the yellow pages. The key is creating a name that sounds credible, that you're already a successful company, but it really should tell people what kind of business you're involved with.
That's a real key factor, isn't it?
Step number 2 there is selecting a legal form for your business and registering it. Now, there are 3 legal forms you should be aware of, and there are advantages and disadvantages. The first one is a sole proprietorship, and in many cases, if you're working full-time, we recommend a sole proprietorship, meaning that you and the business are one and the same, which in April you file one tax return. Mm-hmm. This is an opportunity to lower and pay less tax by writing losses that you incur in your startup, even if you're making money, against your salaried income. Mm-hmm. The second one is a corporation, and in some cases, especially if you need to raise a substantial amount of money, or from a taxation perspective, you may be better off incorporating your company. The third one really is a partnership.
Before you move off there, what about this do-it-yourself incorporation that you hear about? You don't think that's a good idea?
I personally don't think. Now, it depends. If all you're doing is registering a company, it's possible to incorporate your company, but the time you spend trying to figure out, and you're not even sure if you've done it right, you may be better off finding a consultant, or what we recommend is a paralegal, very much similar to a lawyer, but he will charge you a fraction of the price if all you're doing is registering a corporation.
Okay, quickly, some of the other steps. steps that hoops you'd have to jump through.
I guess the third step there is setting up an office. What we recommend is out of your home. There's no need to rent an industrial unit or a very expensive location today.
Still tax advantages there.
And you have the same advantages. This includes hydroelectricity, fuel, heating, water, property taxes. So the expenses that you're paying for right now having a business, you can write off a major portion. Personally, I think that's one thing, one of the main advantages today of starting your own business. It's interesting, 56% of all business today that have been registered in Ontario in the past 2 years are home-based businesses. So there's a huge growth in this market.
Definitely. I told you before we came on, I talked to a furniture manufacturer whose business is starting to grow with the home office design.
That's right.
Which is an indicator of that. 2 million Canadians apparently.
There's a huge market. There's actually a trade show that happens every spring, specifically catering to the home office market, whether they're looking for office computers to furniture, as you mentioned.
Okay, let's go through the rest of the steps very quickly because we have about 2 minutes
Sure,
left.
okay. Step number 4 there is setting up record for your automobile tax write-off. So normally next to your home, your car would be the next biggest tax write-off. Step number 5, simply designing your stationery. This includes a letter, loggerhead, business card, envelopes. Number 6 there would be setting up your communications. This includes your telephone, a P.O. box, possibly a fax. In some cases, if you're doing importing, maybe a telex machine. Number 8 is setting up a bookkeeping system. I recommend that people take a vested interest in managing their own books versus hiring an accountant from day one. Step number 9 there basically would include getting an employer's kit, because eventually you will have to hire employees, but some of the paperwork involved bogs people down when they start a business. So we recommend, while they have the time, to get this employer's kit, but learn what to look for when they're hiring an employee. And the last step is acquiring specialized knowledge. Of the 10 steps, this is probably the most important step. And what we mean by acquiring specialized knowledge is try working the business before you get involved with it, because first it'll let you know right away if this is the kind of business you should be involved with.
Okay, it's very difficult in a 7 or 8 minute interview for everyone to digest all of this information. And how is the Small Business Institute going to help? Do you have packages for people to get going on this?
Yes, I guess we have public workshops and seminars that people can participate in. We're located in Markham. They can register. They're held either in the evenings. We have 8-hour workshops where people can take all the information in a one-day event or over a series of seminars.
And this is for ideas, and this is for getting your business started. All kinds of areas pertaining to small business you deal with. As a matter of fact, the information, and I hate to do a commercial for you, you know, the variety of things available through your institute are amazing. And I think, you know, people will be interested. You know, that air of desperation out there, a lot of people forced into starting a business because the jobs just aren't there anymore, it seems. Well, look, with these few steps in mind, that'll get you ready, or at least get you prepared to test your business acumen. If you need more help, you can call the Small Business Institute, and that number is 470-1125. And I thank you very much for joining me,
Thank you, Gene.
I'm Gene Constaine, and this is Doing Business.
環境唔熟悉，就算有錢喺手，都唔敢貿然攞去投資做生意。咁啱現時加拿大仲係處於經濟蕭條期，一旦投資錯誤就血本無歸。因此，好多投資者都係採取觀望態度。不過，多倫多一位投資顧問 Henry C. 謝烈慧就提供咗一啲創業心得，可以俾準備喺加拿大商界大展拳腳嘅人作為參考。首先喺選擇投資開設嘅行業方面，謝烈慧指出，一定要揀自己熟悉同埋有興趣經營嘅行業。
Reading, enjoy gardening, maybe playing different sports. Try and make that into a business, offer a product or a service. But the main thing is if you enjoy what you're doing, then you'll stay in long enough to realize and make the money in the business.
喺未決定投資邊一個行業之前，最好首先去做一啲資料搜集嘅功夫，好似要知道下目前加拿大人嘅生活習慣、宗教、平均年齡等，睇下而家嘅潮流係點樣，而順應住潮流去投資。投資嘅時候要考慮埋將來，究竟你開設嘅生意喺5年或者10年之後，仲會唔會吸引到當時嘅顧客？
So we look at things that are happening in this country, like the average person today in Canada is about 42 years old. They're getting older, so what you want to do is get in onto a trend and market those products and services.
投資者喺揾資料嘅時候，